In this video with a picture of Francois Truffaut, you can pretend that Francois Truffaut is talking with my voice. Okay, are you ready? Pan up to me. Hello, everybody. So I still don't have my voice back from my trip, but my cat does. You can hear her in the background. I went and saw, I slept in too late, so I was going to see an earlier film, and then I didn't. But luckily, I still caught the movie I wanted to see, which was not Colossal. I'm going to see that tomorrow. This was actually Lone Scherfig's Their Finest. I saw Lone Scherfig's previous film from 2 years ago, The Riot Club, and I didn't quite like it, but I rewatched One Day recently, and I liked it more this time than the first time, and obviously I love Anne Education, so I will basically see anything Lone Scherfig does. I will continue to support her. This one stars Gemma Arterton, who normally I am not that big of a fan of, but I actually thought she was really good in this. And then her co-star is Sam Claflin, who I guess is in the Hunger Games. I only saw the first one, so I don't know. But he was in the Riot Club, and he was good in the Riot Club, and he was very good in this. You also have bonus Bill Nighy stealing every scene he's in, which he always does. But, you know, Richard E. Grant, Jack Houston. I love Jack Houston. And Jake Lacy, who is like continually the greatest like comedic foil in everything, and should be in all the period pieces. If you haven't seen Obvious Child, like get on that and then hop on the Jake Lacy bandwagon. So this film, oh, and also surprise, I'm gonna spoil it slightly. Surprise, delightfully comedic Jeremy Irons. If you ever wanted Jeremy Irons to make you laugh, this is the movie for you. Basically, so the plot is that this is set during the Blitz. It's before the U.S. joined the war, and Gemma Arterton plays a woman who has been hired to write the women's dialogue in propaganda films, but then gets roped into writing the women's dialogue based on the quasi-true story of some women who helped during the evacuation of Dunkirk. So it's a movie about making movies. It's a movie about making wartime propaganda. It's a movie about women working in the war effort. It's a movie about the importance of representation of women on film and women working behind the scenes in film. It is both a wonderful look at a forgotten history as well as an important, timely story about why having women working on films is important. It has so much going on in it that I was like, this is everything I ever wanted, including a very well-tailored lesbian. Those suits, they could have shown me more of those suits. It was nice. Great suits. So, where am I going with this? I just thought it was a great film. It's got romance, it's got comedy, it's got movie making shenanigans, it's got actors being prima donnas, it's got writers being prima donnas, it's got interesting things about, you know, the war, in that so many men were off working that there were both women and sort of the people that you weren't expecting working on things. So you have like a documentary filmmaker making this wartime propaganda film. You need added romance, and then at some point, you know, you have to figure out how to get the Americans to watch it because you need the Americans to join the war, and there's just a lot going on in it. It had a very largely female cast, obviously Lone Scherfig, but also the screenplay was written by a woman based on a book by a woman. The screenwriter, the editor was a woman. Like, there was a lot going on. It's actually the same editor from Ratcatcher and several other amazing films from British films. So I just thought it was great, and there's moments that are really harrowing because this is all happening during the Blitz. So there's you know, some moments you'll be like just taken away by the comedy and the romance of it all, and then someone will die because that's the Blitz, and that's the sort of reality of the war. And actually, this would make a really great double feature with The Zookeeper's Wife. They're both aspects of World War II that I think have very rarely been shown, and also just in terms of the way in which the British film industry worked. Like, she is working without credit. And there's actually lots of a large history of women working in the film industry in England with no credit. And so there's actually a project right now trying to get the names of the women who worked on a lot of these films, their due credit. So that's wonderful. That has nothing to do with this film, but so you should see this film. I think it's just a wonderful, wonderful film, and just filled with great performances and moving story, and an amazingly insightful feminist look into the history of war. Um, I think generally when we think of women in war, we tend to think of, uh, especially in Europe, because in America we kind of have that Rosie the Riveter idea, but generally we think of, like uh, women hiding, soldiers and things like that, and occasionally you'll have like women in the resistance, like in Guns of Navarone, but you don't really think about the women who did things like this, who worked on these films, who inserted themselves into government work, or you get really shitty versions of women in government work, like Cough, the Imitation Game Cough, where they totally screwed over the history of the woman that Keira Knightley was playing. That was a lot of bullshit. This is not based on reality. This is a novel, but inspired by true events and true women working behind the scenes in England. And I just think you should watch this film. It's fantastic. Great way to support women in film. Great way to just support great films. And check out the rest of Lone Scherfig's filmography. Even her misses are better than a lot of people's hits. So this was their finest. It's in theaters now, and you should check it out.